Hey everybody, Taz from Critical Thinking Anarchist here. And well, what a shock, what a shock, what a shock, right? Democrats are lying once again. And this time, almost all politicians lie. I mean, it's pretty much a given. How do you know a politician when a politician is lying? They open their mouth, or in this case, tweet or post on X, whatever you want to call it these days. Um, but this one is, these are the whole thing about healthcare has gotten mega ridiculous. Um, you got the two, and you can't really see these very well here. Let's see if I can. No, no. Okay, that's not doing what I wanted to. Because of course it isn't. Ta-da! Okay. So you got Amy Klobuchar and Jim McGovern, and this is my own fault for arguing with politicians on X. My algorithm is now full of this crap. So you got Amy Klobuchar, who tries to be like, and all of them are doing this, by the way. We're like, oh, constituents in my area who blah 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 make blah blah blah. I could see their premiums go from blah 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 to blah blah blah. So here's the deal on this. One, and let's go to my bookmarks here, because Bernie did a great one. The cost of healthcare has more than doubled since 2000. Now, what happened in 2010? Well, they got a captive audience. Well, what happened since 2010? It didn't stop. It didn't go down. It didn't even slow down. Like, there's a couple kind of small places. You had, a couple tiny valleys. Little one there, little one there, little one there, little one there. Otherwise, it has just gone straight up at a fairly mega diagonal. This is from Bernie Sanders. This is not from a Republican. This is not from, Fox News. This is Bernie's stats here. So this is full left wing saying, by the way, the Obamacare Affordable Care Act didn't do jack to make healthcare more affordable. Think about that. They guaranteed customers for insurance companies, and what did insurance companies do? Raise their prices exponentially. Raise their premiums exponentially. Is that not ridiculous? Democrats passed that without any Republican support. They even got rid of the public option in an attempt to gain Republican support, and Republicans said no. And they passed it anyway. So they made a tax on you 15 years ago. They made a tax because they passed it as a tax. That's what they did. They pushed it through the Supreme Court as a tax. They made a tax on you that said you 100% have to get this or else, by penalty of the IRS. This is why, for people who work, this is why every year you get a slip from your employer saying you have had this coverage for this, for these months. Now, Trump, during his first tenure, he lowered the penalty to $0, but it's still mandated. You still have to get this. You just can't be penalized for it, which is just, it's weird. But that was the power he had. So that was what he went with. So this is the Democrats doing this. They guaranteed insurance companies 100% customers all the time. And what did the insurance companies do? Raised their rates. And then you've got the KFF. Now, this is Kaiser something, whatever. Kaiser Family Fund or whatever. They're this nonprofit organization. If you ever heard of Kaiser Permanente, look up Kaiser Permanente. It is a hospital system, mostly West Coast, but this is not a neutral. Um, this is not a neutral company here. This is stuff going on. You know, they're. I mean, I always say this about polls to begin with, and I apologize for kind of rambling on here. I always say this about polls to begin with. Polls are not representative of anything. The only thing a poll will tell you is what the poll writers wanted to know and what the poll takers wanted to say. That's it. They are not representative of anything else. This does not represent America. This does not represent Middle America, West Coast, East Coast, California, Texas, Minnesota, Idaho, Ohio, New York, Florida. It doesn't represent anything. All this does is represent the people who took the poll. And without knowing very specifically what the poll stated, because all it says is, do you think Congress should extend these enhanced tax credits, or should they let these enhanced tax credits expire? We don't know that that was actually said on the poll. So it says 3 and 4 adults support extending enhanced tax credits for ACA marketplace coverage, including most of those with self-purchased insurance. As you may know, in 2021, Congress increased the financial help provided through the tax credits available to some people who purchased health insurance through the Affordable Care Act marketplace to help them afford their premiums. These enhanced tax credits are set to expire at the end of 2025. So Democrats had control. And they passed a temporary tax credit. They could have made it permanent. They didn't. They could have made it permanent in 2021. They didn't. They're trying to say this is the Republicans' fault. No, it's your own fault. You passed, for number one, you passed the Affordable Care Act without any Republicans. You passed this in 2021 when you had control. I don't know if Republicans voted for it or not. I'm sure they did, because it was, COVID, and they were trying to do things in the name of COVID. And the Republicans are still sitting there passing continuing resolutions, which is Biden's last budget. It's not even a Republican budget. It's Biden's last budget. And they're not voting for Biden. The Democrats are not voting for Biden's last budget. How insane is that? And they're sitting there like, well, this is a Republican thing. It's like, no, all of this is you. 100%. Like, there's only one through line, and that is Democrats passed the Affordable Care Act. Democrats passed the tax credits, temporary tax credits, and Democrats passed the budget that they don't vote for and want a new budget, and they're not willing to negotiate anything on it. And they say, oh, you Republicans own it. No, I'm not saying the Republicans don't want a government shutdown. I fully believe they do want a government shutdown, because they're trying to shrink the government. For the first time ever, they're trying to shrink the government. And I am all for that. But Democrats are lying to you when they say, oh, this is all the Republicans. Republicans want to increase anything. Here's the thing. You know what? And I will say this. You know what neither side is doing? Going after the insurance companies. The Democrats are clearly 100% big pharma on this. They're pro big pharma, they're pro insurance company, they're pro, all of this stuff. They, and it's funny because they sit there and they're like, oh, they sat there and cheered on the guy, Luigi Mangione, who did what he did in Manhattan with the United Healthcare CEO. And then here they are, giving taxpayer money to all these insurance companies. Kind of a little mixed messaging there. But I don't know. I mean, if they were serious, and I mean this, if they were serious, pass legislation going out, or introduce legislation going after the insurance companies for raising premiums. But they, what the insurance companies will do? They say, "Oh, we're just following the law. We're just following ACA." Anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. I will see you in the next one. You take care. Bye for now. I can't find my